Welcome to the Compliance Resource Channel. Compliance Resource is a source of compliance assistance for financial institutions across the country. Today, our Director of Training Services, Kelly Owsley, is going to talk to you about a recent interagency advisory regarding a shortage of appraisers.
Greetings. Today we're here to discuss the recent interagency advisory that was released on May 31st, 2017 in regards to a shortage of appraisers that we are seeing across the nation. Now, particularly this is occurring in more rural areas of the country now, but it could, of course, spread into other areas of the country as well. Basically, what we're seeing in many of the rural areas is you have one appraiser that ultimately is fulfilling the requirements in a multi-county area. So again, this is leading to delays in the mortgage transaction process. It's leading to delays in consummation. So that being said, what ultimately has led to this appraiser shortage? Well, a couple of things are kind of working together to create this shortage. One, back in December of 2010, we as financial institutions received interagency guidelines in regards to our appraisal and evaluation area of the bank. These guidelines put more and more strict requirements as far as when appraisals have to be completed in the financial institution. And that being said, that has led to more and more appraisals being completed within your bank. Now, kind of working in tandem with that is the fact that appraisers themselves are up against more and more certification requirements. They now have to have at least a bachelor's degree. They also have to have at least 200 hours in order to become certified and licensed as a residential real estate appraiser. That's kind of the minimum requirements. If you want to become more involved in appraisals and do certified general work, you have to have even more hours and more education. So we're starting to see those individuals in the appraisal industry that are retiring, they're leaving the industry, and we don't have a whole lot of folks kind of filling in the gap there because of these education and certification requirements. So we really are starting to see a shortage of appraisers overall. So this interagency advisory that was released made us aware of two existing options that are out there in Title 11 of FIREA to inform us of what we can do if you are in an area that is experiencing these shortages. The first option is what's called the temporary practice permit. This is a permit that is issued by the state appraisal board within your state. They issue it to an appraiser in order to allow them to come into their state and work as an appraisal in that area. So for example, an appraiser in Tennessee, I'm in Kentucky, we have a shortage of appraisers in our area. So if we had an option for an appraiser from Tennessee to come into our area to complete appraisals, then what he or she would have to do is apply to the Kentucky State Appraisal Board. And then they would issue that individual a temporary practice permit. That permit would then allow them to come into the state of Kentucky and complete appraisals on behalf of the financial institutions in the area. So that's one option. And it's a very affordable option too. The limit on that, typically states can't charge above $250. So very affordable option for that appraiser. The other option we have are the temporary waiver option. That's a little bit more involved. In a temporary waiver option, the appraisal subcommittee has to receive a waiver request. And that waiver request can come from your regulatory agency, it can come from you as the financial institution, or it can come from a state certification and licensing appraisal agency. So any of those three can request the waiver from the appraisal subcommittee. Once the appraisal subcommittee receives that waiver request, they input it into the Federal Register for public comment for a 30-day period. And then at the end of that 30-day period, they have 15 days in order to approve that temporary waiver. Now, what are they waiving in these cases? They're waiving the certification and licensing requirements for an appraiser. And so if there is a temporary waiver that has been issued in the geographic area that is experiencing a shortage, then these appraisers who aren't yet qualified as a certified and licensed appraiser could operate as an appraiser for you on your federally related transactions. And so the challenges we see here, and again, these waiver options and these practice permits are excellent options. Some of the challenges that we don't quite have answers on yet deal with the fact that our higher priced mortgage loans, if you are a financial institution that does a higher priced mortgage loan, then you're very well aware of the appraisal requirements for HPMLs. HPMLs require you to have a certified and licensed appraiser complete the appraisal for the HPML, also requires them to do a physical visit of the interior of the property. Now, the question becomes, can you utilize an appraiser who has been given a temporary waiver to complete an appraisal for an HPML? These are some of the challenges we see that have gone unanswered in this interagency advisory. So our advice to you is, if you live in an area or you're considering approaching the appraisal subcommittee to get a waiver in your area, definitely want to work with your regulatory agency to ensure that if there is a waiver in your area and you use an appraiser that is utilizing a temporary waiver, then you want to ensure that they can still complete that appraisal for the higher priced mortgage loans in your bank. So that's definitely something you want to consider. Talk to your regulatory agency about that and get some clarification before you move forward utilizing that temporary waiver option. But again, two great options that they've given us, in hopes that that will kind of resolve some of the issues that are out there in regards to appraiser shortages. Again, all of these rules are housed under Title 11 of FIREA. You can simply look to there to find the specific requirements necessary to move forward with a temporary practice permit or a temporary waiver. Hope that helps get you up to speed in regards to handling appraiser shortages. Thanks so much.